I don't think enough people realize how almost every aspect of their lives has been affected in some way by Western colonialism. Hi, my name's Josiah with Diversify Our Parks, and I am obsessed with the way that we talk about history in the great outdoors. And today, I'm starting a new series called The Tools of Colonialism, where in each episode, we'll be talking about the different ways that Western colonialism has affected the way that you think about and look at the world around you. Today, we're focusing in on colonial map making and the different ways that Indigenous peoples today are fighting back against these harmful and often dismissive narratives. As Americans, we are so used to our maps having such strange lines around the borders of our states and nation that most times really don't make sense. It feels as if these lines are natural, not really causing a second thought about the matter. But would you believe me if I told you that these maps that seem so normal are so unnatural to the ways that humans in what is now called North America would have viewed the borders of their homelands for millennia? I stumbled across this new way of thinking in a recent issue of the magazine News from Native California. In his article, Tribes Without Borders, author Charles Hood says, "A good map shares information freely and creates a space for dialogue. Bad maps, by accident or design, limit thought, erase history, and perpetuate false narratives." For millennia, maps in indigenous North America matched the geographical features of the area. A soaring mountain stands between two distinct and separate cultures developed along opposite sides of the exact same river, only a short distance away from one another. Nature, not man, defined these cultural and political lines. A super rad organization called the Friends of the Antelope Valley Indian Museum are currently working to change these centuries-old misconceptions about how different indigenous groups viewed their borders prior to being contacted by the invading Europeans. This organization is working alongside the 7 main tribes that are prominent within the Antelope Valley to create a more robust understanding of what life looked like prior to the invasion of Europeans. For generations, these indigenous tribes lived amongst one another without defined borders, not limiting themselves to imaginary lines on a map. Seasonal movement was such a common practice among so many different tribes throughout what we now call California. They did this throughout their own lands and others, following growing vegetation, moving flocks or herds, connecting with faraway tribes for trade across long distances. The map, funded in partnership with the Friends of the Antelope Valley Indian Museum, seeks to change these colonial ways of understanding territory and land ownership by removing all artificial boundaries and instead placing the name of a particular tribe over the homelands they traditionally inhabited and still inhabit today. This map may be small in size, but it stands defying the logic of our colonial oppressors, proudly proclaiming that native peoples did not belong to artificially created borders, but rather ancient lineages, kinships, clans, groups, and bands, offering us a complete different way of looking at the world. One that is not controlled by a few ultra-rich white men, but rather the people of a land that live, share, and understand their place in the world. Thanks for joining me today on a quick journey through Indigenous California, and I hope to see you next time.